Very good morning, dear students. Dear students, today we are going to start chapter 9 of history, that is the making of regional cultures. Now, first of all, children, see, whenever we are describing people, what do? We describe them in the terms of whatever language they speak. Like if somebody is, speaking, we call a person Tamil or Uriya because that person is speaking Tamil and Uriya, and we ourselves make it a, we just think about it that they are living in Tamil Nadu or Orissa only if they are speaking in Tamil and Oriya. So sometimes, children, we associate all this with a different kind of food, clothes, poetry, dance, music, and painting as well. Fine. Like if someone is eating makki ki roti and sarson ka saag, we will definitely call that they are Punjabis, they belong to Punjab. But that's not true. Fine. So sometimes even we take these type of identities as granted, and we just assume that they are existing from the immemorial time, means from very old time. Fine. Now even children, the frontiers, mean the boundaries, they also keep changing. Fine. So even till today they are changing. Fine. So we just have to understand that the regional cultures, whatever we are following today, that is just a product of complex process. What is that complex process? It is the intermixing of the local tradition. Fine. And the ideas, and even some traditions, they are specific to some region. It's not compulsory. It can be that the tradition is just fixed to one region only, or it can be that it is similar in the other region also, and it can also be that it has derived from the older practices in a particular area, but now it is in a new form in other regions as well. Fine. So in this chapter we are just talking about regional cultures. Fine. Now first of all we will talk about the Cheras and the development of Malayalam. We are talking about Malayalam language. Fine. So Cheras. Now, see, we will just see here the connection between the language and the region. So, children, the Chera kingdom of Mahodayapuram, it was established in the 9th century in the southwestern part of Peninsula. Peninsula, you all know, land surrounded by water from three sides. So, our south area is the peninsula. So, the Chera kingdom was there in Kerala. Fine. And it was there in the which century? 9th century. Now, Malayalam was spoken in this area. Fine. So, what happened? The rulers, they introduced the Malayalam language and script in their inscriptions. They use this sort of language in their inscriptions. Fine. In fact, one of the earliest example of the use of regional language in official record is in this subcontinent only. So it is one of the earliest example, fine, of using a language in official records. So they use Malayalam language in their official records. Fine. Here you can see in figure 1 an early Kerala inscription. Fine. So it is composed in Malayalam. Fine. So next, children, at the same time, what other language eras were following? They were also following the Sanskritic tradition. Fine. Now the temple theatre, means the plays of Kerala or the dances, whatever was done in the temple, they they used to borrow stories from the Sanskrit epics. Fine. Now, the first literary work, which is in Malayalam, it was about 12th century, which was in Sanskrit. Fine. Now, in the 14th century, Leela Tilakam, it was a composition which was in Mani Pravalam. Mani Pravalam means It means diamonds and corals. Here, diamonds and corals are two languages. First is Sanskrit and the second is the regional language which was there. Fine. Now, children, the next topic is rulers and religious traditions, the Jagannath cult. Now we will talk about Jagannath. Fine. Now, if you talk about the other regions, there were regional cultures everywhere, religious traditions. Now, if we will take example, we are going to take the example of Jagannath. Now, what does Jagannath means? Lord of the world, and it is a name for Vishnu, and it was at Puri, Orissa. Where is the Jagannath temple? Puri, Orissa. So, children, till today, the local tribal people they just make a wooden image of the deity, and what does it show? That it was their local god, and after that, later they identified their local god as Vishnu. Now, in the 12th century, the Ganga dynasty, one important ruler of Ganga dynasty named Anantavarman, he decided to make temple of Purushottama Jagannath, and where he decided to make the temple at Puri. And after that, in 1230, King Anang Bhima III, he dedicated his whole kingdom to the deity, and he announced himself as the deputy of God. Now, children, as the temple was gaining importance, it was becoming a center of pilgrimage. Its authority and social political matters it increased a lot. Fine. So, whoever was conquering Odisha, like Mughals, Marathas, English East India Company, whoever was conquering Odisha, they were trying to gain control over the temple. And what's the reason behind it? Because they were feeling that if they are going to gain control over the temple, they can easily rule the local people there. Fine. So this was all about Jagannath cult. Now, children, the Rajput, the tradition of heroism. Fine. Now, see, in the 19th century, the region, the region of Rajasthan, it was called Rajputana by the British. The British they used to call it Rajputana. Now, this means that the area was inhabited, means only Rajputs were living there. Now, this statement is not, very true, because there were others group also which were living there, and even Rajputs were also living in the northern and southern India. And of course, children, many other people were also living in Rajasthan apart from Rajputs. Fine. And Rajputs, they are recognized as contributing to distinct culture of Rajasthan. That we can say that the culture of Rajasthan, the contribution goes to Rajputs. That's true. But we can't say that Rajasthan means Rajputs, so other people are also living there. Now these traditions they were linked with the ideals and aspirations of the rulers. Whatever ideals and aspirations of the rulers are, the cultural tradition was very linked to that. Now, from about 8th century, the sorry, from about 8th century, most of the present day estate Rajasthan, it was ruled by various Rajput families. We have talked about Prithviraj Chauhan. He was also one such Rajput ruler. Now, children, these Rajputs, they used to cherish the idol of hero who fought valiantly, bravely. They used to fight very bravely, and they used to choose death in the battlefield rather than facing the defeat. So it is the line which is spoken for Rajputs. Fine. Now stories about Rajput heroes, they all were recorded in poems and songs, and they were recited by the minstrels. Means the people, minstrels were the people those who were reciting these poems. They were trained especially for this only, and these songs and poems, they were why they were reciting this, just to preserve the memories of the heroes, and to inspire the people to follow the example of these people. Fine. Now, there was a dramatic, they used to depict a dramatic situations, and they used to show a range of strong emotions like loyalty, friendship, love, failure, anger. These were all stories based on these topics. Fine. Now, children, the question arises, did women get a place in these stories? So, children, they were figured out as, the cause of any conflict. And the men used to fight with one another either to win a woman or to protect a woman. So, women were, they were depicted following their heroic husband in the life also and even after death also. So the practice of sati you might have heard. So it is when husband used to die, the widow, the wife used to sit in his funeral pyre only. So that was the sati pratha. And you might have seen Padmavat also. So that is showing the example of this situation. So, children, those who were following the heroic idols of their husbands, they had to even pay for that by giving their lives. Fine. So, this was all about the Rajputs. We will talk about Kathak in the next module. Thank you and have a nice day.